Hello, and welcome to 5 Steps to Flow. I'm Betty Withrow. I'm an author, a speaker, a workshop leader, and a blogger, and a book coach. And I work with people who have always wanted to write a book and think that it's too hard, to make it easy and simple for them so that that dream can come true. Using modern technology and methods that I've developed, I have created this system, which I'm about to share with you, that I use to support my authors in putting together their work. When I work with clients, I create a custom system that's based on the unique needs of that author and their message and their communication style. I have found that there are no two messages, no two authors, and no two projects that are alike. And so I work very closely with people to make things happen the way that's going to work best for them. Now I'm going to share my screen, and without further ado, we'll get right into 5 Steps to Flow. This simple system to put your book together is composed of 5 main elements, and I'm going to share them with you right now. A little background about me. I'm a writing professional. I have published 3 books. I have more books on the back burner and some are on the front burner, and I blog consistently on the art of writing. I use my system for authors in many different types of writing. I find that a lot of people who have businesses or are coaches or become my clients. I also work with people to share retrospects of their life and their message. And I use focused language as the centerpiece of everything that I do. I'm highly trained in the art of language, and I believe that language has the power to shape our world, in fact, does shape our world. So I'm deeply passionate about it. When you get in front of the market with materials that grab your customers' attention, then people in your market want to know more. And if you're a business writer, this positions you as an expert in your field. I've spent most of my life in the arena of sales. Raising a ranch means that you raise a lot of businesses in order to support the development of the ranch. And so I learned that each environment has a different communication style, a different culture, and a different language. So as I write copy for clients, I use that knowledge, and it's very exciting to me to work with book clients because I get to know people and their style and their communication on a deeper level. What's important to different groups of people is my very favorite topic in the world. So I'm very pleased that I get to do that. So here we are with the first part of 5 Steps to Flow, and that is chapter creation. When you make an outline for your book, you begin to have a shape for it. A lot of times a book simply starts as a group of ideas that are sort of floating around, and you're not really quite clear about exactly what you want to do and how you want to present it. Well, first things first. The first thing to do is do what I call a brain dump, where you take every idea that comes into your mind and write it down consistently over a period of days. You just keep emptying out everything that's in the idea box and putting it on paper where you can see it. And as you do this, you begin to see a shape for your ideas. One of the really fast tools that you can use is what I like to call the 1-minute index card, where you get out an index card and for literally you set a timer on your phone. And for 1 minute, you write down every single thing that comes into your mind. As you do this, then even if it comes up twice, write it again. And then at the end, stop and then look at what you've done and begin to see the patterns that are there. When you do this over a period of days, you'll start to see that the same ideas show up again and again, and those are the most important ones. And you can begin to create your outline for your book based on that. So what I recommend doing is every topic that you think might be a chapter, use that as a heading, and consider that it is a chapter, and know that you can move things around as you evolve, because your ideas are going to change as you move through this project. Step by step, put your ideas into a structure that makes sense, and this will give your book a good flow. And knowing what you want to put where gives the ability to add or remove things as you progress. So, have those topics and begin to develop, put them in the outline, and know that the outline can and will change as you keep going. For your outline, you're going to need an introduction, that list of topics for each chapter, and a closing statement. At the end of your book, you want to have something that wraps everything up. It can be very short. It might even be only a paragraph or two, but it's kind of a footnote for the book that takes the theme that you've developed through all of your different chapters and brings it into fruition and unity. So you begin with the introduction to expose the content that you want to share with your readers, and you move through your chapters, and then you round it up at the end. In the introduction is the unifying location where you put all of your book content into one place that's kind of an overview and gives the reader, if you want to see your book as a cake, it gives them what the different slices of the cake are going to be. And that's where all your ideas come together. You write out your intro as a first draft and be ready to put everything that is in your book into your introduction in a shortened form. What do you want your reader to experience? How did you learn the things that you did? What do you hope that they're going to gain from reading your book? What's the central theme, the central message of your book? And how can you put that in front of the reader so that they become more and more interested in what it is that you have to offer? Base this on your chapter outline and briefly touch on each thing that you mentioned throughout your topics, and know that as you go through your book writing process, you're going to go back to your introduction time and time again. As your chapters develop, you'll go back into your intro and pull things from the intro to put into the chapter, and you will also take things from the chapter and weave them into the intro so that it all is a unity. I think of the intro as being like, for instance, the top of a wind chime. Here's the wind chime up at the top. The intro is the very top, and your various chapters are coming off of it like the tube of a wind chime. And as your reader's consciousness moves through it, the different chapters resonate with one another. And that's why the intro is so important. It is the place where all of your ideas unite, and how you literally tell the reader who you are and why it is that this is important to you, and what are they going to get from reading your book. Adding tools, tips, and insights to your book will add elements of value to the reader. When you're writing a nonfiction book, especially one that's a coaching or a business book, adding tips and tools means that the reader can have concrete steps to use to take action on the content that you've presented. When you give examples from your own experience, and then add to the content a tip that is based on your knowledge, it gives the reader a place to anchor that knowledge and bring it into their own world. And when you give them a tool, it takes it a step further, because they can then implement the knowledge that they've gained, and then they become enlightened by what you've offered to them because they see it in action. So people are looking for that map to get the results that they want. That's why they're reading your book. Show them what you know and how they can use that knowledge for themselves in simple ways. And include things that you do on a daily or weekly basis, and talk about what kind of results that you have gotten from using these tips and tools. That will make it real for the reader and will motivate them to take those same actions. Again, you're going to be weaving all of these things back and forth through your chapters and through your introduction. I recommend at the end of each chapter, you put in some useful tip or action, or if that's not appropriate, some type of a quote or an anchoring statement that brings the topic around specifically to the reader's attention. An example, for example, is a good way to do that, because then the reader will take the example, apply it to their own life, and visualize themselves as being the person who took action and gained the benefits that you show in that example. In step number 4, I'm going to tell you about speak-to-text software. This is one of the great innovations of our time, so that the old stereotype of the harried author bent over the keyboard, frantically trying to write things down as they come into their mind, becomes unnecessary, and in fact, it can be a thing of the past. If you use some of the new software tools, it saves you so much time and mental energy. You can simply dictate your book content. I work with some authors who speak their content into their phones as they're taking a walk, and then come back to the office and put it into speak to text software, cut and paste it into a Word document, and send it to our management system so that I can work with the material. It's a great way to get your thoughts out in a very spontaneous way. And from there, you can rework it so that everything becomes more refined. I like to use speechnotes.co. It gives you an easy way to create files, and then you can merge those files into your book when following the instructions on the welcoming screen to begin writing your book. So here's the welcoming screen for speechnotes.co. As you see, it has a very user-friendly menu. You can do a lot of different things with it. You can transcribe recordings. You can dictate anywhere. There are other products that they have. And the very first step is to go ahead and click on this microphone icon. Now you have to use speechnotes.co on Chrome. It doesn't work on other browsers with the microphone feature. So of course you want to use Chrome. And then so you click on here, and it's not going to do it because this is a PowerPoint. But what happens is you click on it, and as you speak, it just starts typing out what you're saying. It's wonderful. And it's quite advanced, and it's very sensitive. So it will even pick up voices from elsewhere, say a radio or so on. And if you like, you can add your punctuation marks right into it as you're speaking. You know, say, this is the end of the sentence, period, and it will put the period there. Or you can say, on the other hand, comma, and there goes the comma. It's great. It is, however, so sensitive that you may not even need to do that, because it picks up the nuances of your speech and automatically punctuates for you. I absolutely love this software, and I really recommend it, especially for people who are very busy and don't want to take the time to sit down and write things, or maybe they just want to develop their concepts simply and easily by using this. So go ahead and get into speechnotes.co. It's absolutely great. Then we come to step number 5 of the 5 steps to flow, which is Google Drive. Now, Google has one of the most advanced systems in the world, as we all know. And one of the great tools that they have is this Google Drive, because it makes it possible to share files back and forth. Even very large files can travel quickly and easily, and you don't have to go searching for them in your emails. Or, you know, a lot of the bigger files can't go in email anyway, because the program won't carry that much information. But when you put it on Google Drive, you can organize things and share these things with others. And you can set the permissions for who gets to see them and in what way by using these different methods. Now, here's a screenshot of one of my Google Drive folders, the 3 Golden Apples, which holds the system that I have put together for business writing success when I teach that workshop. In this folder, there are ways for me to share it. You don't see those sharing permissions here because the folder is open, but when I'm on my drive right here, then all of the sharing permissions come up in the upper right. You can get a link, or you can share directly to someone in their email. I can access shared files, which are things that people have shared with me. I can go into recent and see what I was working on most, the last thing that I was working on starred. And then, of course, there's the trash. They do empty the trash every 30 days now. So if you put something in the trash and change your mind, then you need to pull it back. But I love being able to work with Google Drive. A lot of times what I do is I share the files with an author, and then after we've agreed on all of the editing permissions and all of the changes in the document, I can download everything and put it into Word, where it's the simplest and easiest for me to do the editing. And it comes across very smoothly. It saves a lot of time and energy for everybody. So you create these new files and may add them to folders. And I just showed you a little bit about how to navigate the system. It's very user-friendly. It will explain itself to you. And if you don't understand it, you can always Google a question that you have about Google Drive. So the whole information system is readily available. When you share a folder, you click on the folder, you get the sharing link, and then you can set permission for editor or anyone to see it, anyone who has the link, an editor, a commenter, or a viewer if you decide to set narrower permissions. So these simple steps are the basis of my book creation system. Now, simple doesn't mean easy, but it can be a lot easier than it used to be. And to make it simpler is to make it easier. Writing a book is a great experience. I highly recommend it. It will take you places you didn't know existed. Well, a lot of people say, well, why would someone want to read my story? Or what is it that I know that's so special? I want to tell you that you know things that no one else does. You're the only person in the whole universe who's had the experience that you have, who has the specific knowledge and the skill sets that you have. So recognizing that is an important thing in your personal growth. And a book is a great way to find out the deeper levels of what that's all about. One of my favorite parts of working with authors is when the author begins to see that their message is bigger and more important than they thought it was. And that elevating feeling that they get from that knowledge and that realization is one of the great things in life. It's one of the best things. So I'm here to be your guide and to show you how to put together your book simply and easily. You know, it can actually be fun to write your book. What a concept. It can be that way. So when you do have all your material written and you've merged all the files into a document, you're ready for an editor. It is one of the services I provide, so reach out to me and let's talk. Each writing project is unique, and I will work with you to design the system that gives you the best results. Some people have a complete text already written and all they need is an edit. Other people are starting right from the starting line. Regardless of where you are, I'll meet you there and grow with you. So contact me at Betty at the Writer's Launchpad to set up a conference about how I can give you the support that makes all the difference. You don't have to go it alone. My formula is this: commitment plus action equals results. So at the Writer's Launchpad, I am committed to your success. I offer you my full support, so please reach out to me and let's talk about your book and how we can make that happen. Thank you very much for coming and visiting here and viewing this video. And I look forward to speaking with you soon. I wish you every bit of success that you can ever possibly have in your journey, and all the best in life always. I'm Betty Withrow, the Writer's Launchpad. Thank you very much.